No, that wasn't good enough for me. There's that Madonna. There's that Olivia Newton-John. I want to be on stage. And when I started in front of, I didn't care if it was 4 people with my mic. Oh, it was unreal. Words is something that you can't take back, and words can be really detrimental to another human being. So I always say, whatever it is that you say, just pause and wait before you say it. I left him at 50. And that took a lot of courage. So when I said to him, we're done, I actually, it's not even a question, I don't want to be here anymore. So it's okay. I don't hate you, I don't want to argue, I don't want to fight, we're just done. He said to me, you said that the last time. And I went, oh my God, I did. And then I said, yeah, but this is the last time. And then he said, I can't wait to see you and the kids eat out of tuna cans. But when he said those words, I mean, what a nasty thing to say, not just to the woman that you've been married to for 29 years, but your kids. Why would you want your kids to eat out of tuna cans? That's insane. They're your kids. It doesn't matter about it. You can hate me, you can say whatever you want about me, but they're your kids. So when he said, I can't wait to see you eat out of tuna cans, and I thought, bang! A switch went off and I thought, done. And that actually made me go through with the words. So that's what done it for me. And then when I left, and I moved back here to the home that I grew up in, I went, what have I done? How am I going to survive? I was only a fitness instructor then, and that was because he wouldn't allow me to have a gym membership. And I thank him every single... My classes last night, they were screaming. It was so insane. 60 people in my class screaming, laughing, carrying on with everything that comes out of my mouth. Are you kidding? So thank you. Thank you for saying no if you want to go to the gym, because I just said, look, I want to go to the gym. Yeah, you'll have to get a job. So most people would have just gone, okay, I'll go and get a receptionist job. No, that wasn't good enough for me. I want to be, there's that Madonna, there's that Olivia Newton-John. I want to be on stage. And when I started in front of, I didn't care if it was 4 people with my mic. Oh, it was unreal. The rest is history. I'm still teaching, I'm still motivating, I'm still changing lives every single time I take a class. And this one woman, and I'll never forget her, said to me, you'll make a great DJ. And I went, what? I never thought of being a DJ. Somebody has to put something in your head for you to go away and think about it. Unless you've had a crazy dream that you were doing something and then you woke up and you thought, I want to do that. That can happen too, but not in my case. So Monday morning I went to my class, started jumping around, carrying on, putting on the music that I wanted, motivating. And I just went, I'm already DJing. That was my brain. My brain said, I'm already DJing. What's the difference? So I tried to dissect the difference between fitness classes and your party, your event. I have to motivate you. It's my fault if it doesn't go well. Okay, fitness is runners and water. Your event is high heels and alcohol. They're the only 2 things that are really different. I've got this. So I went to see this guy to purchase equipment. And he was like, what are you after? And I said, the best. what sort of DJing do you do? Oh, corporate, weddings, engagements. So we chose what I was getting, totaled it up, $20,000. I thought, yep, done. Perfect way to spend my divorce money. Because I wanted to get rid of my money. I didn't want the money that had to do with my marriage. Don't ask me why. I just didn't. I didn't want any of it. It was like, I had to make my own now. I don't want it. It's got, this is all associated with my marriage. I want nothing to do with my marriage, except for my kids. So, just about to pay, and he goes, so, how long have you been DJing? And I said, oh, I haven't started. And God bless him, he said, he's a good friend of mine now. Joe said to me, I'm not selling this to you. And I said, well, what? Why not? He said, no, I can't do that. He said, I'm good at what I do, and I wouldn't sell all this equipment to someone who hasn't started. Okay, bye. I was walking out, he goes, where are you going? And I said, I want the best, you won't sell it to me, I'll go somewhere else. So he was like, come back. I did, I went back. And he goes, I can't believe I'm selling this to you. And I said, but I told you I'm going to DJ. And he goes, a lot of people say that, doesn't mean that they do. And I said, well, you clearly don't know me very well, do you? Of course you don't, I'm a complete stranger. And I remember when I got my equipment, I said to him, and my computer, I don't know how to set this up. You have to set it up for me. And I was at his office crying. He goes, what are you crying for? And I said, I don't know it was like flying a plane. He goes, just go home and just touch every button, just play with it. You know, look up the decks, see, you know, there's always, you know, tutorials that you can look at. So I came home and literally 3 days later, lockdown. And everyone that knew that I got DJing equipment laughed and laughed and laughed. And they meant well. They weren't laughing. I've never been bullied until now. So they weren't, you know, they were gorgeous. These are people that adore me. They said, look at the position we're in now. You've now lost your job. You've got no job. You spent $20,000 and you think you're going to be a DJ. I said, yeah, I'm going to be one. Little did I know that I was going to be unemployed for 2 years. But in those 2 years, instead of playing the victim, well, I was determined that I'm going to turn this $20,000 into a successful business. And that's exactly what I've done. The rest is history. Now, for everyone that ever said, no one's going to want you because you're old, I love these jokes about being old. I copped it on the show about being old. And I copped it when I wanted to become a DJ. And it's like, it's a job. Why are you putting in an age? As long as you can do that job and you do it well, what's your age got to do with it? Are you that narrow-minded that there's an age to a specific job? Oh my God, that is so backwards. That's like caveman style. So I do my job and I do it well, and I cannot tell you how many people get excited because of my age. So I get a lot of my work because of my age. And they're like, no way, she's nearly 60? Yeah, she nearly is. No way, she's nearly, yep. She doesn't use headphones. No, because she's learnt to DJ without them because she doesn't want to mess her hair up. That's why I started DJing without my headphones. Every now and again I put them on, but, you know, to make people think that I'm a real DJ. But I don't need them. And even other DJs, they're like, wow. So, yeah. I do what I do and I do it well. Anyone can mix two songs. I don't produce songs. So I find songs that I like The difference with a really good DJ is you've got to know when to play that song to keep that dance floor going. When I DJ, when I play Madonna, it's like I need a straitjacket because I go nuts. I do.
Do you often play her music? Or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are certain artists that everyone wants to hear, and she's one of them. And when a Madonna song comes on, even if you weren't born in her era, you know the song. It's like when you look at a fountain, right? Imagine looking at a fountain and you've got a ball on top of the fountain. If you turn the fountain down, what's going to happen to the ball? It's going to go down. You want to always keep the ball up once that dance floor has begun. And that's a skill. Then I believe connecting with human beings, that's a skill. Not everyone's got that. Not everyone knows how to connect with crowds. I mean, I look at some DJs and they're fantastic at playing what they're playing, but you're not in a room by yourself. That's like, you imagine if you went to see a band. Okay, you imagine the guitarist, right? Imagine you're in front of me and I'm like this. Or I'm like this. You'd be like, what's wrong with him? So what do DJs do? I don't know. I look at them and I'm thinking, what's wrong with him? You're not in a room on your own. You don't have to carry on like I do. I do carry on. That's me. And if I like the song, oh my God, you can see it a mile away. And then if I muck up the words, I don't care. So.
What are your favourite gigs you've performed at as a DJ?
I love weddings. I guess I love love. And when I sit back and, you know, when they're doing their speeches and I listen to the grooms, the words are one thing, but the way they look at their bride, it's like, wow. But my heart really, besides weddings, if I can have two, besides weddings, Italian events, melt my heart. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of wholesome dinner dances. It reminds me of, you know, unity. It reminds me that, you know, there were rules just through a song. You know, Mum used to force me to dance and you had no choice, you had to dance. I don't want to do tango. You had to do tango. You had to do waltz. You had to do a tarantella. You had to do whatever she said to do. You did it. If not, she'd crush your feet. I didn't want my feet crushed, so you did it. And I thank her because I know how to dance all those dances now. So now when I do Italian gigs, you know, whether it's a festa, whether it's a community-based, you know, Italian dinner dance. And then when I see people that, you know, are 70, 80, and they get up and dance, oh my goodness. But I love DJing all the old antique songs that have been revamped and they've got a beat to it. You know, I want to try and get our generation to appreciate what we grew up with. And the songs that we grew up with, they're quite daggy. You listen to them, you think, oh, I'm going to fall asleep. But now finding remixes of those songs, wow. People just like, you've reminded me of my dad, you've reminded me of my mum, me and my grandma, all those memories, they're amazing. I would like to do that for the generation of today.
You said you prefer to play the remixes of these traditional Italian songs. It's almost like they've kind of shifted and changed with you becoming a better version of yourself.
Bingo. You have nailed that. You see, when I hear the old songs, they just make me cry. Because, you know, I had a strict upbringing. I wasn't allowed to breathe the way I wanted to breathe. I had to breathe your way. So now to play that song my way, wow, it really resonates with me. It really does. Then I go on Married at First Sight. The wedding day was one of the best days of my life. He was so excited because he thought I was 40. I thought, okay, that's my bombshell. While we were filming, they would say to me, can you throw something at him? None of that's on camera. Oh, no, it was on camera, but you didn't see that on air. Morena, I have to tell you something, and they told me I have to tell you now. I didn't expect for him to say, I'm married. So I was so positive, well, why not me? I can't believe it got to me the way it did, but it did.